Even after a 4-game layoff and only 2 competitive games in the last 3 months, Munster champions Cork have no choice but to hit the ground running against the Kildare side, going into action for the 4th consecutive weekend. On the plus side for Cork, the break means Conor Coonahan has a fully fit squad, with the inspirational Graham Canty returning to centre-back to replace Owen Cotter, the only change from the Munster final. As always, Alan O'Connor provides the midfield experience behind a forward line that simply bristles with speed and scoring talent, with the recharged Kieran Sheehan and Colm O'Neill providing the perfect boost for the already prolific Donncha O'Connor. Kieran McGeeney stands by the same Kildare 15 which so comprehensively destroyed Sligo last weekend, but the exact positions they should play in is still the subject of debate. Mick Foley is again selected at number 8, but can Kildare afford to be without him in the full back line? And what of Johnny Doyle? Lethal close to goal, but a real workhorse further afield as well. Or will the vital scores come from Mikey Conway, or indeed from the inevitable introduction of the country's most discussed player, Shawnee Johnson? I'm joined on commentary by Paul Early, but that's the referee, Joe McQuillan from the Kill Shamrocks Club in County Cavan. This is his 6th All-Ireland quarter-final. And straight away, a tussle in the centre of the field on what's a slippy surface in Croke Park. It's going to be possession for Kildare. The runner on the outside is Morgan O'Flaherty. And that ball will win the free straight away for Kildare. Just what they would have looked for early on. But the conditions are not going to be easy, and we can expect a lot of mistakes early on, Paul.
We certainly can. I suppose I always feel that a wet day suits a team who play more direct football. I suppose most scores on wet days are kicked closer to goal, so the team that probably gets the ball in a bit quicker has more success in getting the ball into the scoring zone quickest, certainly has the advantage. And I suppose if you look at Cork over the last couple of years, they have their preference for the running game, but they have changed that a bit this year. They have been more direct. We see them starting off with Aidan Walsh started at full forward for the throw-in. Obviously Nicholas Walsh is going to go inside, so they have mixed the long and the short, and you expect to see them do that today.
Mikey Conway from just inside the 20-metre line. He takes a couple of extra breaths just to down, strikes it with the left foot. The opening score for Kildare, and that really will be a settling one for them. In 2008, when these counties last met, Cork went into an early 9-point lead. But Mikey Conway will have given the Kildare supporters and Kieran McGeeney a little bit of breathing space. It took them 20 minutes to score against Cork in 2008. But they're into this one straight away. Cork win that one though. And a lot of those clashes expected this afternoon. Players crashing into each other. Graham Canty picks himself up somewhat gingerly after that one. Plays a nice little ball into the corner there though. Fintan Gould half blocked there. Fintan Gould will get the return though. Seemed to be knocked off that one, but Emmett Bolton battling for him. Fintan Gould for the 3rd time get possession now. He's inside Emmett Bolton. Cross in front of that goal. And there's a little tip away there from Hugh McGrillen. I'm not sure if he got the possession on it or not. Well, the umpire thinks not. I thought he might have got the touch, but it works out for Kildare.
Yes, and already we see an interesting match-up in the Kildare full forward line, and Owen Cadigan is taking Tomás O'Connor. Owen is obviously the dual player, excellent dual player. He's an abrasive character, a tight marker. Clearly Cork have felt that maybe he is more suited to the size and athleticism that Tomás O'Connor brings to the Kildare full forward line. Michael Shields taking up Alan Smith, who's playing off Tomás O'Connor, and that'll be a very interesting duel inside if Kildare can hit quality ball inside to those two players.
Shane Connolly's first kick out onto the far side of the field where John Doyle gets into possession. Good move this for Kildare again. Tomás O'Connor inside, the opportunity for the shot, and Kildare start with a flourish. The long ball pays dividends. Rob Kelly, who there was much talk about and doubt about, gets the score.
Yeah, and Kildare will be very happy. The first 2 balls that have gone in have been won by the 2-man inside full forward line. Alan Smith, very pacey, playing very well, just drifted off Michael Shields, and Rob Kelly coming inside. A good point for Rob Kelly. Mick Foley at midfield playing particularly well over the last couple of games. Rob Kelly has been taken off in a couple of those games. That'll be a huge boost of confidence for him. A great start for Kildare.
A 4th championship point of the year for Rob Kelly. And this one again on the ground, but Kildare players in a little bit too hard on that. So there's going to be Possession though for Peter Kelly. John Doyle doesn't look 6'2", but he is back helping out as he's done so often this year. Cork retreating, plenty of space. And Kildare now with the man who got the point, Rob Kelly, but he's given that away. That's a terrible kick. Way over into it, and Hugh McGrillen has to go after that one, and that was a desperation save from Hugh McGrillen. So suddenly what looked like safe possession for Kildare was almost a nightmare for them, and Cork through Donnacha O'Connor. He looked as if he was shaping for the shot there for a second, decided not to. Paddy Kissan, he's got 1 point so far in this year's championship. He goes looking for number 2, and he's got it. The wing half-back, Paddy Kissan, charges forward and takes a good score.
Yeah, that all came from a very loose, poor decision-making, a loose kick from Rob Kelly. No need to kick it across the field. In wet conditions like this, it's going to skid off the surface. If Kildare play that type of football, they're certainly going to give opportunities like that to Cork, and the good teams will punish the turnovers, and Cork did that on that occasion. Great score from Kissan.
Good, bright opening to this game. Shane Connolly again through the centre of the field. There's a lot of big men out there. Joe McQuillan decides that the pushing was on the part of the Cork midfielders. James Kavanagh trying to get things moving quickly there, off the body there of Tomas O'Connor. Another opportunity for Kildare, and they really are in form. That one might just sneak inside. It doesn't. It's gone to the left-hand side and wide. And John Doyle, he scored a goal and 20 points in 3 All-Ireland quarter-finals. He didn't score in last year's quarter-final, and he thought he'd started a new run there, but that one just sneaking off to the left and wide. So Alan Quirk will settle things down for Cork perhaps, and again that's a very dangerous one, and it took Paddy Kissan just to get a foot in there and send that one out the far side to where John Doyle was waiting for it. So we've seen suspect defensive play on both sides, initially for Kildare and that time from the kick out for Cork. John Doyle there, just a little push in the back from Michael Shields.
Yeah, and we saw in the minor game already, the ball is skidding off the surface. It's very hard to hold your feet around that middle position, and those short kick-outs or any loose passes like that are going to be punished. There's no doubt today the ball skills of both players are going to be tested to the limits, because in conditions like this you have to be able to execute your skills, your passes, your hand passes, your kicks to perfection.
Mikey Conway, he's had a good championship so far. 2 goals and 16 points now he's scored. This one will test him to the limit though. He strikes it a little bit to the right and wide though. But Kildare will be happy with their first few minutes of this game.
Yeah, no doubt about that. I think a couple of things. Their full forward line's moving well out in front. Peter Kelly, who's marking Donnacha O'Connor, that's a key matchup also. He won the first ball that went inside. He's a very good player, won an All-Star a couple of years ago. Kildare starting at a high tempo, moving well, and want to get some more scores on the board.
It's so untypical of Alan Quirk to make a couple of mistakes so early in this game, but his defence recover from that, and Owen Cadigan is a very combative player, makes sure he gets in and makes his presence felt. And Donnacha O'Connor did well then. These are difficult conditions. Not alone did he win that ball well, but he turns and he moves well in the slippery conditions. The pass wasn't a great one, but it's won the free for perhaps Donnacha O'Connor himself to take the kick from about 40 metres out. And that was a real wraparound from Rob Kelly there. Wasn't much doubt about the free. So Donnacha O'Connor looking for exactly the right place to take this free and try to level things up for Cork. But it's been an all holes barred or no holes barred opening to this game, and this will be a difficult one for the Kildare defence, because this is the type of ball that might just drop that little bit short. Donnacha O'Connor gets enough air on it, but it's falling just under that crossbar, taken safely there by Shane Connolly. And again that pass out from Shane Connolly puts his own man under pressure. It comes to Paul Kerrigan. That was a rash shot perhaps from Paul Kerrigan, and Emmett Bolton will tidy things up for Kildare. So both backs looking a little bit nervous at this stage of the game. Owen Doyle, a little prod forward there, but again too close to the sideline. Possession back to Cork, but it's been a story of mistakes after mistake. That time Ono Flaherty unable to get to that one, and he had a bit of a tangle there with Graham Canty. Graham Canty takes it quickly there. Kieran Sheehan does well to stay inside the line. He's looking This really is speculative. That's a huge kick if it stays just inside, but it doesn't look so from here. And that really does show a player that has confidence.
No doubt about that, and he was excellent in the Munster final against Clare, and he just got back onto his favourite left foot, and it just drifted slightly wide. But early on, both teams making errors, skill errors. They've got to realise that the surface, as I said earlier, is very, very slippy. Hand passes have got to be short, not these long, loopy hand passes which are given to players who are marked tightly, because they'll break away and give the opposition the opportunity to counter-attack.
Leighton Walsh just about kept that in play. And then the push in the back on Colm O'Neill. Ollie Lyons, the player, guilty of that. Little nudge in the back. Colm O'Neill, one of two players in this Cork forward line that had cruciate ligament injuries in the last few years. Kieran Sheehan, the other one, is complicated by a medial ligament as well. But this will be a huge kick. Not much breeze, as you can see from the flanks. Colm O'Neill, oh, that looks good. It might just again be outside that upright. So twice in quick succession. Good opportunities from the right-hand side for Cork, and both just sailing wide.
Well, I think that one went inside. I think that was given as a score. It just
I thought it had just sneaked outside, but in fact it has been given. You're
just
quite
drifted
right.
inside. It was a terrific shot, terrific free by Colm O'Neill. He's on form after two cruciate injuries, as you said, back in the game, and it's great to see a player like him back playing very well again in the Munster final against Clare. And Ollie Lyons will have a difficult task to marshal him today.
Colm O'Neill gets his 10th point of this year's campaign. He can't be denied. But again, Cork have pulled a lot of players back. Owen Doyle, Mikey Conway. Owen Doyle takes the return, loses his footing for just a split second, but it's still enough for Mikey Conway to get possession once again. Morgan O'Flaherty lucky to get that one back, and it might just set something up. Johnny Doyle sizing up the post. Johnny Doyle turning and striking it superbly. Well, that's the class of the man. Quiet last day. I didn't score against Sligo, but that was quite superb.
Absolutely, but Morgan O'Flaherty again, a loose hand pass. He was lucky to get it back, got it into Johnny, and lots of question marks over Johnny's performances at this stage in his career. Certainly you shouldn't doubt Johnny Doyle. He's delivered for Kildare for so many years, and he's terrific anywhere near the goal, very accurate. And
Graham Canty, little tug on the jersey there. Alan O'Connor, the Dublin native, began his playing career with Lucan Sarsfields. Now, of course, he's a hero with St Columns and Cork. Cork players there looking at each other, and they were perhaps lucky to win the free there. There's a lot of uncertainty out there, and I think a lot of it must be down to the slippy conditions.
Yeah, I wonder about this decision again. There was, as far as I can see, there was no free there. Ollie Lyons puts his hands to his head, thinking, what did I do? There was no hand around the player, no pull of the jersey or anything like this. Gives Cork an opportunity outside the 45-metre line. That's
a big kick from Aidan Walsh. I'm not going to predict this one too early, because the white flag has gone up this time. Oh, he struck that very, very well. No wind to affect it, straight as a die.
And that's a surprise to see. Aidan Walsh didn't realise he had such a good kick from the ground. Obviously, with Colm O'Neill kicking that one a few moments ago from a similar distance out in the wing, you'd expect him to take that one as well. But they have a surplus of free takers with Daniel Goulding on the bench as well.
And they have a man that can drive them forward in Graham Canty as well. That's danger. Oh, well, Hugh McGrillen had it, lost it. It's gone out for the 45, but he did well, because he might have completely handed that to the Cork forward and didn't.
And of course, this is the difference with Cork this year. With Nicholas Murphy in the full forward line, they have changed their style somewhat. They can go long. When they do go long, he has the capacity and the ability to cause a lot of damage in the defence. Hugh McGrillen did really well there, and but all it needs is a break off a defender, off the forward in that danger area, and Cork will create goal opportunities. So Kildare have got to be very, very vigilant in that full back line.
Nicholas Murphy is 6'5", and that in itself is a problem. He's in his 16th championship season, so the amount of experience he has is incredible. As Donnacha O'Connor from the 45 swings it in with his right boot. Another lovely score for Cork, and that puts Cork 1 point in front. Donnacha O'Connor the taker.
Yeah, and ominous for Kildare, because we saw Colm O'Neill kick one from the right wing from about 45 metres. We saw Aidan Walsh kicked one from about 48 metres. Donegal O'Connor from the 45. Three fantastic scores from three different players on their game, obviously, from kicking from the ground.
Referee spotting some pushing there. And I thought initially he was going to give that to Kildare. I think the crowd were surprised by the decision in favour of Cork. And again, that ball in between Donegal O'Connor and Peter Kelly. Peter Kelly wins this one. He spots Emmett Bolton. He looks to see if he got support outside, and he has, but that support now has moved inside. And it's Morgan O'Flaherty. So this is a little bit slower build-up, and that was a silly mistake. The ball played low along the ground from Morgan O'Flaherty to Owen O'Flaherty. It gives it away to Cork once again, and Paul Kerrigan, he needs no second attempt. Oh, that's a great save, and it's gone in! We've had a deflection. Paul Kerrigan will claim the goal. But really, it was just good fortune for Cork.
Well, I'd like to have a look at that pick-up again, or that decision by the referee, but Cork again, when they got the free, they moved as swiftly as you can see, and very, very unlucky. Here's the pick-up on the ground. Yeah, good call by the referee. It was rolling towards Flaherty. He didn't put the foot underneath it, but very, very unlucky. A great save there from Shane Connolly, but rebounded back off the Kildare defender, and certainly the goal that Kildare did not want to give away at this stage of the game when Cork have dominance out around the middle of the field.
Cork with their tails up now. Fintan Gould out to Paul Kerrigan. He's off once again. The speed is a real problem, not just for this Kildare defence, but for every defence in the country. The referee spotted a little tug there as well. These are important moments for Kildare now. They've got to settle themselves down. They'll have talked about the fact that they could give away an early goal in 2008. It was John Hayes and Michael Cousin who scored goals in the first 17 minutes for Cork, and it was a long chase back for Kildare on that occasion. Yeah,
but I think it's Kildare have given away 1-1 from unforced errors. One was from a free that Ollie Lyons gave away. A debatable decision by the referee. I have to say, I didn't think it was a free. That one was pick up off the ground, and Kildare cannot afford to give away possession like that to a very fast, effective forward line, Cork forward line.
Donegal O'Connor makes no mistake from the 20-metre line. It's looking a little bit ominous for Kildare just at the moment. They need to break forward. We haven't even seen them have a real attack in the last few minutes.
They're just struggling to get their hands on the ball around the middle third at this stage, Kevin, and you know, they may have to vary their kick-out strategy somewhat, because they've got to win. Dara said it before the game, they've got to win midfield to be in with a chance of winning this game, and so far Cork dominant in that area.
5 points the margin at this stage, and again it's Pádraig Cassan who likes to go forward, and he seems to be having a lot of opportunities this afternoon. Colm O'Neill does a little bit of a twist and a turn, and the shot this time just screams off to the right hand side and wide, but that really was all too easy for Cork.
Far too easy, and Kildare have just got to push up on Cork, get closer to them in attack. I pity their defenders at the moment, because their Cork forwards are moving all over the place. They're finding space, but they're getting the ball around the middle of the field far too easily. They're winning the breaks. Their half-back line in particular is picking up a lot of possession. And
Kildare this time might just get that ball in the centre of the field. And again, well, the crowd on this side, that side, and every side, I think, felt that had touched the Cork player last. But the linesman's not for turning, and Joe McQuillan is fully in support of him. And that ball broke from a number of hands. Paul Kerrigan was trying to get it there, and it looked as if Paul Kerrigan certainly was the last touch. But again, Cork are in for another opportunity. Donegal O'Connor, a goal for Cork. Colm O'Neill, it's all so simple. And really, the Kildare defence caught ball watching. A lovely little layoff, first of all, from Colm O'Neill, Donegal O'Connor, and a slam-bang goal. 2 goals in quick succession.
Yeah, great composure by the Cork forward line. Again, Colm O'Neill causing huge amount of difficulty for the Kildare defence. His movement is terrific. Won the ball, reacted when it hit the ground, crossed to Donegal O'Connor. Again, less experienced player might have taken the shot himself, but he had the vision to spot O'Neill inside, and Kildare under severe pressure at this stage, and they've got to get a score quickly and turn this thing around if they're going to be in this game.
Some ironic cheers from the Cork supporters, or should I say perhaps distant from the Kildare supporters, as they win the free. Rob Kelly will win that free as well after the challenge from Aidan Walsh. Mikey Conway, he wanted to take that one quickly, but there just wasn't enough movement inside for him. He eventually got it away. And Ono Flaherty, there's a wall of red jerseys in front of him to Emmett Bolton, the saviour against Limerick. Back outside to Mikey Conway. Mikey Conway, again, he might have to do something speculative, which he does in the end. And there's no Kildare player there whatsoever, and Pádraig Cassan will start them off once again. And this again looking dangerous for Kildare, even at this stage, as Cork break out of their own defence. Aidan Walsh, nice leisurely ball inside. Touched on the ground there by Colm O'Neill. Free out for Kildare, a little bit of a respite for them perhaps. They're under massive pressure. And Kildare are going to make a change. Rob Kelly is coming off. Darrell Flynn is the player who's coming in. No huge surprise, and Kieran McGinney usually is very decisive in these situations. Well,
I think it's a sensible decision at this stage. They are struggling badly around the middle of the field to get their hands on the ball. Darrell Flynn played his last game against Meath, was unluckily sent off that day, and he's the type of player that Kildare need at the moment around that middle area. He's strong, good in the air, physically very imposing, and they've just got to start to win ball in that area and turn this game around if they're going to be in with a chance of competing with Cork.
Ollie Lyons, plenty of space through the centre. Darrell Flynn cut out well there by Noel O'Leary. Cork opting this time for the low ball inside. Morgan O'Flaherty read it very well. So perhaps this game might settle down a little bit. But there are so many shades of 2008 for Kildare just at the moment. And again, the ball that needs to go to hand for them is lost. Fintan Gould through the centre. Colm O'Neill. He looks confident. He's thinking all the time about the shot. But that should fall short to Hugh McGrillen. And he's going to have to solo this ball a little bit. He was challenged there for Nicholas Murphy. But I think for the first time we might actually have a little bit of a breather in this game. It's been helter-skelter so far. John Doyle. Pádraig Cassan, John Doyle. The hand out into the face there of Pádraig Cassan, but he actually got the free.
Yeah, I think both of them tried to, but Cassan knocked him over with the push. But it's notable that Cork are much quicker in turning defence into attack than Kildare are. Kildare's build-up is a lot slower than Cork. Cork over the last couple of years have been accused of too much hand passing in defence, taking too much time to get the ball from defence through to attack. They've certainly changed that this year, and if the first 20 minutes is anything to go by, they're much more potent because of that type of strategy. Kildare too slow to move the ball down, but Kildare the architects of their own downfall as well in the first 20 minutes also. A lot of poor quality passing, a lot of poor decision making, and as I said earlier on, when you play against the really top sides, they punish you when they get a turnover. The Dublins of this world, Cork obviously with their experience, and they have done that very effectively in the first 20 minutes.
Ono Flaherty, Kildare's top scorer so far this year, with 19 points. Looking to make it 20, and really the harder they try, the worse things get for Kildare just at the moment.
Yeah, and I'm also surprised that with Tomas Connor inside, they have not hit a high ball into him all day. All the balls have gone in very low early on, and Cork defence, to be fair, are very, very tight, and they're mopping those up.
Well, Cork are mixing it a little bit. That long ball from Aidan Walsh, snapped up by Morgan O'Flaherty. But he's put himself under a little bit of pressure. He has to use Shane Connolly. Kildare will try to build it again. Colm O'Flaherty wins the free. Paul Kerrigan, the culprit. Colm O'Flaherty gets the return. And that one might just make it through the centre for a change. The opportunity. And Kildare, through Alan Smith, get a score, and that really was a much-needed score for Kildare.
Yeah, very, very important score, and Alan Smith has shown good form early on in this game. It was a very good ball there from Mona Flaherty out in front, and he's doing well on Ray Carey in the first 10 minutes. They need to get a lot more ball in, quick ball inside to Smith. And as I said, very get some ball in to Tomás O'Connor. He's only been involved in the first couple of minutes of this game, but as I said earlier on, it's around the middle of the field, and Kildare doing the last couple of breaks in there.
And that was a nice ball back from James Kavanagh. Mick Foley hasn't been in this game very much so far, and the crossfield ball would have too much pace for Eoin O'Flaherty. Kildare have been blowing hot and cold in this year's championship. Hot against Offaly, cold against Meath, hot against Cavan, cold against Limerick, and hot against Sligo. Today so far, it's been very, very cold. As Fintan Gould is dispossessed, perhaps a little bit of a turnaround coming. Now they go for the high ball inside. Tomás O'Connor goes up for that ball. It's on inside towards Alan Smith, but again Cork reacted quickly. They seem to have it all covered. Aidan Walsh. Oh, nice football from Aidan Walsh. That was a great ball through to Paul Kerrigan. Paul Kerrigan again, spotting the men inside. They're winning those 50-50 balls. Colm O'Neill comes around the corner, but it's still danger for Kildare. Shane Connolly has to come out. It's still there, and the danger is still there. Nicholas Murphy beaten this time, but really Kildare again looking nervous with that high ball in there onto the edge of the small parallelogram.
Yeah, Ollie Lyons put good pressure on Colm O'Neill when he was kicking that high ball in, but Shane Connolly had no reason to be out there contesting that ball with Nicholas Murphy and Hugh McGrillen.
Well, Joe McQuillan is taking a leisurely stroll across the pitch to have a word. It will be with Eoin Doyle. Eoin Doyle started the championship in the half forwards, but he's now resident in the half back line. A yellow card there for Eoin Doyle. That's the first yellow of the game. And again Kildare forced to go backwards. So they've got to start and build once again. Ollie Lyons, he scored 3 points in this year's championship against Offaly in the opening match. And once again, it takes back for Kildare to have the opportunity to win the ball. That was Tomás O'Connor.
Yeah, here's the yellow card incident. Well, if he's given it for that, it's a very, very poor decision by the referee, Eoin Doyle. His momentum carried him into the player. There was no malice involved in that whatsoever.
Noel O'Leary bursting forward, so typical of the man. It's a 30-something half back line for Cork. But there's where the pitch this time beats Aidan Walsh. And quick hands from Kildare get them moving. Bit of space for a change for them. Alan Smith, Tomás O'Connor, he's got to come out and show for it. A real fetch and feed full forward in the traditional vein. Alan Smith held on to, and the free in for Kildare. And that certainly has raised the spirits of the Kildare crowd.
Well, it certainly has, yeah, but again it was Johnny Doyle working back, dispossessing Aidan Walsh, and Johnny's been doing that all day, working incredibly hard and trying to leave the space for the forwards inside. And Alan Smith so far is the key player for Kildare in that forward line, but Kildare to be effective, they've got to get James Kavanagh into the game, they've got to get Mikey Conway into the game, got to get Tomás O'Connor to get his hands on the ball as well. They're not going to reduce this lead with only one or two functioning forwards.
Eoin O'Flaherty this time from his hands, this time successful. Well, any little thing that'll get them going.
Yeah, good score from Eoin O'Flaherty, but you really feel, Kevin, at this stage that Kildare are going to need a goal to lift them. There are a couple of heads down around the field. They're not playing, as I said, with the pace that Cork are playing at, and they need to create a couple of goal-scoring opportunities to just give them a lift before going into half-time. 2 goals between the sides.
Oh, that was Graham Canty. A mighty kick forward from the 3-times All-Star Mikey Conway. Kildare winning a little bit more possession. James Kavanagh going to have to win this one the hard way, and he does. He's got support from John Doyle, Johnny Doyle, playing it inside to Alan Smith. Alan Smith back to Johnny Doyle. He'll go for the score from there. It's very, very high, but it's drifting out to the right and wide. They're going to have to really take every single one of those.
No question about that. Johnny was off balance, kicking from the right-hand side. He's very accurate, but just forced that a little bit. Again, caught maybe another pass inside to Tomás Conor, trying to create opportunities in front of goal.
Well, there was just a bit of a clash there as that ball has been delivered by Alan O'Connor, between Alan O'Connor and Darrell Flynn. Mikey Conway's been working back well at the moment. Darrell Flynn trying to shore up midfield. The crossfield ball, James Kavanagh looking better for Kildare. He's got two players inside. He goes for the long high one inside. This could be Tomás O'Connor. It does. He comes out onto it. Alan Smith, he'll think about the score from there, and he'll take the score. Well, that is undoubtedly the best we've seen from Kildare so far in this game.
Yeah, it's the first time that James Kavanagh really has been in the game. He won a 50-50 ball, a hard win. Again, Alan Smith involved, and that was very good from him. Good win out in front from Tomás O'Connor as well. But what Kildare are doing is Johnny Doyle, Mikey Conway in particular, are working back, working very hard back, but they've got to release players from the back line into the forward line as well to fill those spaces, because when the ball goes in, Cork have too many players in defence to mop up those balls that are broken.
The last three scores have come from Kildare in the space of 6 minutes, and they've won another free. The momentum suddenly with Kildare.
Yeah, very important period here, and again John Doyle on the ball. Again, he's working tremendously hard, showing that leadership that we all know he has and has shown over the last number of years for Kildare, and leading by example, and that's what you need. And a few of the other Kildare players need to stand up as well if they're to get back into this game. But a critical opportunity here now for Eoin O'Flaherty to reduce the lead to 4 with 5 minutes to go in the first half.
It's a long kick for Eoin O'Flaherty. Took the first from the ground, second from his hands. That was the more successful. And this one stroked with his right boot, drifting out to the right-hand side and wide. You just wonder there, he took the last one successfully from his hands, and then he goes back to the ground.
Well, he is very accurate from around the 45-metre line. He's very good kicking 45s, but again, at this level, we saw earlier on, Cork kicked 3 frees from the ground, from inside and outside the 45-metre line. Kildare have missed one there. It's those narrow margins that make the difference at this level when you're up against the top sides.
Great win there from Graham Canty. Aidan Walsh, plenty of space in the centre of the field for him. Alan O'Connor. Again, Cork look as if they've got the ability to open up. Noel O'Leary through the centre there. Morgan O'Flaherty, the centre half-back, tightens things up. He's got a lot of players around him. He's got to create a little bit of space, which he does. And the long ball this time, again in towards Alan Smith. He looked up there for a second, and again he tried the delicate ball through towards Tomás O'Connor. It didn't work. Owen Cadigan there trying to dig it out. It might just work for Alan Smith this time. And that was a pass almost to nothing for a second. It worked out well. Morgan O'Flaherty had gone forward there. Mick Foley's in there trying to create something for them. Johnny Doyle, it's in his area now. If Johnny Doyle can swing this one in, it'll be a huge score. And Johnny Doyle does. We talk about inspiration, but that's a perfect example of it. Wonderful play.
Well, I agree with Johnny a few minutes ago from having a shot from there off balance. He kicked a fantastic score there, and that is the type of inspiration and leadership that you're looking for. And Johnny is showing that in the last 10 minutes, realises that his team have got to graft, have got to win ball around the middle of the field, have got to work hard, dispossess the Cork defence. And to be fair, Tomás Conor dispossessed Owen Cadigan inside, and that led to that opportunity. So Kildare back in the game in a big way.
And back in the game with Darrell Flynn, just what they needed. Huge catch. 4 points between them now. James Kavanagh, Hugh McGrillen. The confidence is growing when you see the cornerback going forward, and Hugh McGrillen keeps going forward. He's only 20 metres out now. Oh, break area slipped and he goes for the point, and he gets it. The Selbridge man lands the score, and that really was amazing.
Yeah, fantastic piece of play, but again, James Kavanagh involved, and I said a bit earlier on, he hadn't been involved in the first 20 minutes of this game. That's crucial for him. A wonderful catch in the middle of the field by Darrell Flynn, and that's what Flynn brings to you. He's terrific in the air, he's abrasive, he's strong, and great score from McGrillen going forward. And we talked about that a few minutes ago, Kevin, the importance of Kildare. When they have the half-backs coming back in to defend, they have to release some of those defenders to go forward to give that extra man, give them the opportunity for the extra man in attack. And McGrillen scored a great point. Back to a 3-point game.
Paddy Kelly has replaced Kieran Sheehan, and what a replacement that is as well. And again, Kildare almost had that one once again. It's back to 3 points in it, one kick of a ball. Cork have won the free. Now the influence of Paddy Kelly will be interesting. And straight away, he's into the action. Morgan O'Flaherty doesn't quite chase him too tight. Aidan Walsh couldn't get the hand onto that mattered. Morgan O'Flaherty is down, and that could well be a yellow card. That was a clumsy challenge early on. A rush of blood to the head there, I think, from Paddy Kelly.
Yeah, and what's noticeable in the last few minutes is that Kildare are winning the 50-50 challenges. They're getting much tighter on the Cork players. It was a loose pass from Paddy Kelly anyway. It was going to skid off the ground. And terrific win by Mick Foley inside, and a bad yellow card to give away.
So Paddy Kelly gets the yellow card. There'll be 1 minute at least of added time. And Kildare, you can just feel that confidence growing in them now. They feel as if they're in a real battle and they've got something to contribute. Tomás O'Connor, he's won the free as well. It's all going Kildare's way just at the moment.
Yeah, they're certainly putting it up to Cork at this stage, and the difference in Kildare in the last 10 minutes as opposed to the first 20, they're not making any elementary mistakes with the ball. A lot of the problems that they had in the first 15 minutes of this game, where they leaked those 2 goals, were as a result they were their own poor quality passes, mistakes on the ball, loose passes as well. They're much more accurate with their passing in the last 10 minutes. They're not giving away silly balls. They're waiting for the players in the forward line to make the runs before they give the pass, and that's proving very effective. Again, a crucial kick, this time from Mikey Conway, who's been very good from the ground in the championship so far this year.
Interesting to see that when Tomás O'Connor was in possession, he was tackled by Owen Cadigan and full forward Donnacha O'Connor as well. A sign perhaps of the pressure that Cork feel they're under in the last few minutes. This would be a massive kick. If Kildare can go in, even 3 points down, it'll be regarded as a good result. If they can go in 2, it'll be even better, but it won't. That one just falls short. Joe McQuillan blows for half-time after a fascinating opening 35 minutes in Croke Park. The half-time scoreline: Cork 2 goals and 5 points, Kildare 8 points.
The Aircom Championship Challenge. Why not challenge yourself at experiencemore.ie?
Standing next to me, left or right side, take your pick. But girl, you got to make it quick, baby, baby, baby. I know I drive you crazy. Yeah.
Coors Light, Rocky Mountain Cold Refreshment.
The Dark Knight rises.
I wish I could make these two go that fast, or even as fast as I was switching me car insurance to Aviva. When a little doggy told me you can get 6 weeks cover free and a 10% discount for buying online. Brilliant! In all fairness, like, I saved enough, right, to help build these beauties their own in-house training facility. Yeah? And to pick up this. Go! Hey! It's motivation and music. If that doesn't get them moving, nothing will.
Get 6 weeks free car insurance and a 10% discount for buying online. Get the Aviva deal.
I want to go further. I want to be ready for the real world with up-to-date skills and relevant know-how. I want a state-of-the-art campus in the heart of the city. I want support. I want flexibility. I want internationally recognised courses. I want lecturers who are easy to talk to and who listen to what I have to say. I want to realise my potential. I want to succeed.
CityJet flies direct from Dublin to London City, where you not only fly to and from the airport, on your return journey you fly through the airport. Speedy 15-minute check-in, or fly on to destinations all over Europe, while enjoying our friendly personal service. Book by the 9th of August at cityjet.com to get our special promotional fare for €129 return, including all taxes.
To be there and see the lads play like that. It was champagne hurling, Brazilian hurling. It was incredible.
We were there every step of the way to the 4 in a row. It was unbelievable.
And we were there when we stopped the drive for 5.
Flame fooled us all, and Semple Stadium exploded in blue. And we believed in magic that day.
And I'll be there
this year to do it
all over again.
The GAA Hurling Championship. Nothing beats being there.
If financial difficulties are keeping you awake at night, Bank of Ireland can help. Take the first step and share the problem with us, because we're committed to providing customers in difficulty with real, workable options. Call into your local branch and let's take the time to talk it out and work it out. Bank of Ireland. For small steps, for big steps, for life.
The same hoarse voices, the same clenched fists, the same words uttered that some sitters missed, the same soaring highs, the same crashing lows, the same oh yeses, the same oh noes, the same old characters, the same place in the stands, the same mad passions. We're the same, we're fans. Championship, every Monday, the Irish Examiner.
I'm searching for a really fun place to get away from it all. Well, good news. You're already there. DiscoverIreland.ie. The fun starts here.
SuperValu, proud sponsors, real supporters of the GAA Football All-Ireland Championship.
Ulster Bank, an official sponsor of the GAA Football Championship, are giving you the chance to win a pair of tickets to the All-Ireland Football Final, as well as dinner for 2 and 1 night at a Dublin city centre hotel. It's all thanks to Ulster Bank. To be in with a chance of winning, text GAA to 57199 and answer the question returned. What year did Donegal last win the Sam Maguire? Is it A, 2011, B, 2005 or C, 1992? Lines close at midnight. You need to be 18 or over to take part. Terms and conditions apply.
A 3-point lead for Cork over Kildare at half-time, that early own goal. And then a goal by Colm O'Neill, allowing Cork to establish a big lead by the 19th minute. And we thought they might run away with it, but Kildare have been pegging them back. Hugh McGrillen's point there towards the end of the first half. There's a 3-point difference between the teams. And if at one stage Cork looked like they were running away with it, definitely not the case now. Barrow O'Shea, how come Kildare have managed to come back into it?
They're pure tenacity, Matt. Like, you could draw a lot of parallels from this game with the Dublin Laois game last night. We said before the game that where Kildare have to be to match Cork, they did that. They got 2 sucker punches with the goals in the first half, which we'll talk about later, Matt. But I just thought that they really knuckled down. We spoke before about Alan Quirke's kick out. Kildare identified that. They turned it over a few times in the first half.
There was, of course, the conditions, David, is something we identified before the game. It's a very slippery surface. But how poorly did some of the players do in adapting to the early conditions?
You know, there's no excuse for it, Matt. We're living in Ireland. We get rain 95%, 99% of the time. And the referee is very pernickety off the ground. But this is what Kieran Donaghy did there some time back. You never kick the ball across your own goal, and that's it, because you just never know where it's going to go. But Cork was putting the pressure on Kildare.
I think both teams were actually very tentative for the first 10 or 15 minutes, Matt. I mean, you know, there's a couple of split decisions, I suppose, decisions being given against both sides. But in particular, Darry, you mentioned Quirke's kick out being a strength. 2 over the sideline. We don't associate that with him whatsoever. You know?
like at the very start of the game, we talked about Tomás O'Connor in a full forward. Kildare didn't do it at all in the first 50. It was 28, 29 minutes and they got the ball into him. Like, he's their key man, but they've been hand passing left, right, sideways. There's no, it's all lateral movement. They're not going forward with
What
the ball.
about the first goal, Dara?
First goal was unfortunate. I mean, it was a great shot by Kerrigan. I think Kerrigan steps here. He took a lot of steps here, but it was.
What about the pick up there?
Pick up. Looking at it there again, I still think, you know, the way things. I thought the ref would have left that go. Here you see Kerrigan making a great run, save, very unfortunate. It was actually Owen Doyle who went off for a finish, but it was very unfortunate. But like look, they created the chances. Like, Matt, the goals were, you could see goals coming. Even the goal after that, you could see the goals coming. So
he nearly had 8 steps there, Dara.
I think he was. It was over.
Okay, maybe the referee was giving play on, but you know, I don't think it was a
very often you see, man. We're talking a lot about referees lately. Very often you see, if he makes, which I thought he made a mistake because the crowd reacted poorly to the decision about the off the ground. Straight away when there was 8 steps there, he had a chance to rectify his mistake, you know, by giving a free out. He didn't do it. Big call.
Cork haven't scored since the 19th minute. How have Kildare managed to stop them?
Yeah, but that's the difference. I think it took 3 points, or Kildare only had 3 points on the board or something like the 20th minute. But you know, the key difference, I think they brought Darrell Flynn into midfield. He sort of shored up a lot of the primary possession that Cork were winning, and they started to kick the ball into Tomás O'Connor. He was, you know, Owen Cadigan and the boys inside were actually having a field day on him. They started kicking good ball in for a finish, and that's what actually tipped them over the finishing line there.
We have lots more to talk about and see when we come back after this.
A financial plan for every fan. Ulster Bank, proud sponsors of the GAA Football Championship.
Yep.
Some of the world's finest courses are here, waiting for you. Are you up to the challenge? Short breaks start from just £79 per room.
It's not just a wall, it's a canvas. It's you. It's hundreds of colours and over 200 years experience and passion in every tin. It's not just paint, it's personal.
It's back! The Super Quinn Steak and Wine Sale is now back by popular demand.
Anybody like to try some lovely steak here today?
With more Super Quinn steak on sale than ever before.
Like to try some Super Quinn steak?
Love to, yeah. Oh, sweet, that's good, man.
Guaranteed Irish, guaranteed tender. Made for the barbecue, that steak's good. Guaranteed tender.
Fabulous. Enjoy our famous fresh Irish steaks at 33% off all this week. Like sirloin steak, 33% off. And ribeye steak, 33% off. And specially selected steak wines are up to half price. The Super Quinn Steak and Wine Sale is now on.
I don't like waste, especially when it comes to my money. The one thing I like about Allianz is that, on average, 65% of their online car insurance quotes are cheaper than the market average.
Call Allianz on 1890 48 48 48 or go to allianz.ie.
I'm going to make a film of your wedding.
No, you're not.
This summer, are you both virgins? There's one event
I'm just a mother who wants her daughter's wedding day to be special.
no one should miss. From the director of Calendar Girls.
I just want you to be happy.
We put weights within the bouquet and it will eliminate bingo wings on your big day.
The Wedding Video in cinemas August 17th.
Meet Olivia. She's got the perfect man and the perfect job. But the one thing she couldn't count on was a new crush that was about to change everything. Crush'ems. Critics give Crush'ems Milky Bar 5 stars, packed with delicious real bits of Milky Bar. Crush'ems. It's this year's biggest crush.
Play the Aircom Championship Challenge at experiencemore.ie. The Aircom Championship Challenge. Why not challenge yourself at experiencemore.ie?
Dara mentioned there the goal that came after Paul Kerrigan's run and the steps he took. So let's have a look at it again and see, did Paul Kerrigan offend and should the goal have been disallowed? Dara?
Yeah, look, he takes the ball here and in contact here, he drops the ball, which we're only starting up again. So we start from here, look.
No.
Yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And he's kicking it on the 8th.
But the benefit of the doubt was given to him because the defender was probably pulling out of him.
Yeah, if that was out the field, it wouldn't have been a, you know, it'd have been a free.
Yeah.
But like, I thought the referee had just caused there, just, you know, we'll say when he gave away the free earlier. Now again, probably it was off the ground, but the crowd reacted badly. It's a big call in the game, eventually.
The referee must have been of the opinion that the Kildare man was fouling. But the thing is, if that was out the field, referees get the heebie-jeebies when something happens in around the box, and it was too close to goal there.
Now, what about Kildare and Tomás O'Connor and how they can actually use him to get back into this game?
Well, look, Matt, when they started kicking the ball into him, they got 5 points from the 24th minute on. They'd only 3 points on the bar before that. And he's the fulcrum, he's the key player. He's a big, robust ball winning full forward. Every team would love to have a guy like
Yeah, they're playing him and they're playing Alan Smith off him as well, just number 12 off him, Alan Smith. And he's kicked 2 or 3 great points.
Yeah, he's on fire at the moment.
He's peeling off him there and kicking good scores.
Every time, when Kieran McGeaney is into this business, every time O'Connor gets the ball, I want an option on his left and right, every time.
And when you're looking at this as well, David, Kildare have the momentum. I'm mad the game. In 2008, Cork were 2-3 to no score up, you know, and Kildare came back.
Okay, well, let's call it again, lads, because the teams are coming back on the pitch then, and who do you think's going to win this now?
Look, the momentum certainly with Kildare. Cork need a good 5 minutes, so if I was going to the bookies, I'd put a few bob on Kildare.
David?
No, I still think that this Cork team is they have the bench, they have the panel. They mightn't be as fit, and Kildare fitness is going to be a big question the last 5 or 10 minutes, but I still go with Cork.
And Dara?
Yeah, I'm going to stick with Cork. Just they have the capacity to get a couple of scores. You know, they're getting the scores easier than Kildare are.
Okay, well, let's go back over to our commentary team now of Paul Early and first Kevin Mullen.
Thanks, Matt. Kildare have scored 8 times to Cork 7. But of course, it's the 2 goals from Paul Kerrigan and Colm O'Neill which give Cork a 3-point lead. Of course, the winners of this game go on to meet the winners of Donegal and Kerry. A fabulous game and prospect between those two, and it will be coming up soon as part 2 of a Super Sunday of live GAA on 3. Well, the Kildare subs and Kieran McGeaney just straggling across the pitch. Kieran McGeaney, Paul, will be a lot happier now than he was 15-20 minutes into that first half.
No doubt about that. They're more competitive around the middle, winning ball that won the last 10 minutes around the middle of the field, and a couple of their forwards have got into the game at this stage. Cork will be very disappointed with their last 10 minutes, and they probably should go a little bit more direct, because that's been very effective for them in the first 15 or 20 minutes. But Peter Kelly playing very well in Donnacha O'Connor. Donnacha has been a key player for Cork over the last couple of years in particular. He's a playmaker for them, and Peter Kelly has been very tight on him so far, not getting him involved in the game very much.
Nicholas Murphy with the first wide of the second half. He stayed in the middle of the field as well. Morgan O'Flaherty, James Kavanagh. There's a certain crispness now. The high ball inside. Tomás O'Connor got a little nudge in the back there. The referee doesn't think it was sufficient for the free. And in the end, Owen Cadigan gets back, wins it. He takes the high challenge. It'll be the Cork free out. And Tomás O'Connor takes a little nudge of revenge there.
Yeah, no doubt about it. The arm was over the shoulder. I think if Tomás O'Connor, he's probably been too honest. If he went down there, he'd probably have got the free. But certainly Cadigan's arm was across the shoulder of O'Connor on that occasion.
Joe McQuillan having a word there with Emmett Bolton. And Emmett Bolton becomes the third player in this game to receive a yellow card. We had one for Owen Doyle and another for Paddy Kelly. Well, it certainly didn't look like anything terribly untoward. But Alan O'Connor is the next man to be spoken to. And we're going to have a fourth yellow card. So that just takes the momentum out of the start of this second half. So back to the football. Paddy Cassan. Well, no, not back to the football, because the referee's going to throw this one up. As a result of that rash yellow card to Alan O'Connor, Tomas O'Connor comes down. And there's a great O'Connor tussle there. And the referee's given the award to Kildare. And things are heating up a little bit now. Well, now we're in a real championship match. I don't think we've seen anything like this all summer. It's all pushing and shoving, admittedly, but it's a sign of the tension.
Yes, and the referee is doing well. He's standing away from the schmozzle. He's having a look and not going in to try and pull players apart, which is absolutely the right thing to do. He should observe and see what's happening, see who the perpetrators are, and make the decisions based on both his own view and his linesman's view of what went on. But I don't think there was anything too serious in that from...
Well, Mikey Conway was the one casualty there. At least he was the one man who ended up on the ground. And now we're having a major debate. Well, it's not easy to see everything that's going on in there. And in the end, the referee has just given the free for Kildare.
And the only way to punish those type of offences is to get the score. And this is, again, we've said, a crucial kick for Kildare. It'll be very important for them to start the second half with a score. They said Cork haven't scored, I think, since the 19th minute of the first half. Kildare can keep this momentum going.
Well, he had a long talk there with Barry Cassidy of Derry and Rory Hickey of Clare, his linesman. And now things are really heating up. Cork have literally built a wall there in front of the kick. Oh, you can go over the top of the wall. No, Tomas O'Connor, the opportunity. Well, it's very, very high. It might curl in. Oh, that would have been a wonderful start to the second half for Kildare.
Yeah, great reaction from Tomas O'Connor to win the ball in a mass of Cork, mass Cork defence inside, and Alan Smith just snatched at it a little bit. There were 4 Cork defenders trying to block him as he kicked that ball. Alan O'Connor going off, maybe a tactical substitution here. He's just taken a yellow card, and Pierce O'Neill coming in.
Yes, and Pierce O'Neill, faster, higher, stronger, might be the best way to describe him. A player who is fit now. He's had a shoulder injury and then a groin strain as a result of that. And now perhaps this second half can begin to flow. Aidan Walsh, he pumps it long, but it was just too long for Graham Canty. But we look as if we're in for a real game now in this second half.
Absolutely, and it's 20 minutes since Cork have scored in this game, and that's phenomenal when you think of the scores that they have put up, you know, in the Munster Championship and over the last couple of years.
Well, Kildare again on the burst. This is what they couldn't do in the first half. Now they have that opportunity, but again, that's great tackling from Paddy Cassan. He just got the one hand in, stayed on his feet, and now he launches the attack, but that again picking up pace. But Paul Kerrigan off now, and one of those tenacious runs through the centre of the defence. The referee says no, and he's letting the gate flow now as well, but it's back. Well, it's turning over at a remarkable rate down there. I think we saw 3 mistakes being made in the space of about 2 metres. John Doyle wins the free. And Mick Foley. And we have a change too on the Cork team as well. Daniel Goulding, man of the match in the 2010 All-Ireland final, is in. So it's all change, except for the score since half-time. Darrell Flynn. He's on the run, Darrell Flynn. Thinking about the score, Darrell Flynn. Hits it very, very high, but the accuracy isn't there. Kildare now having the opportunities, but not just availing of them.
And in this period of dominance, Kildare have got to keep the scoreboard ticking over, because you will expect that Cork will get on top of the field at some stage during the game, and when they do, they will create some chances in the forward line. At the moment, Kildare are having that period of dominance,
there's that
and
change.
They need to capitalise.
Yeah, sorry, there's that change. Daniel Goulding coming on, and Nicholas Murphy going off. So I suppose they're replacing the heightened experience with the scoring power of Daniel Goulding.
Yeah, that's an interesting move. Obviously, Daniel Goulding, a fantastic player, and one of the key scorers for Kildare, man of the match in the All-Ireland final 2 years ago, will pose a different challenge now for Hugh McGrillen, who's done exceptionally well, and Nicholas Murphy so far.
Alan Quirk picked out Aidan Walsh and sets Cork moving once again. Owen Cadogan was involved. Graham Canty does now. Graham Canty's broken the tackles now. Might think about the score. Plays it outside. The chance of the score this time. Well, first touch of the ball. Daniel Goulding flying in on the end of that Graham Canty pass.
Yeah, an important score for Cork, and they needed it at this stage. As I said, 22 minutes since they scored, and again it was Canty showing that leadership, as he's done so often, right through the middle. Hugh McGrillen had to go to him and left Daniel Goulding free. Daniel probably could have had a shot at goal, but realised the importance of getting the score for Cork.
And I suppose that's where experience counts. You don't have to go for broke just to actually get a score that settles your team down and gets you back into the flow of scoring.
Well, absolutely. At this stage of the game, just Cork needed to get a score, and again it was that leadership shown by Canty coming straight through the middle of the park.
And Joe McQuillan has been busy. Mikey Conway is the man he's picked out this time. And Joe McQuillan taking his time, but in the end deciding that it's going to be a yellow card for Mikey Conway. So the physicality has certainly increased. Oh, that for a moment was in the hands there of Morgan O'Flaherty. No, in fact, Darrell Flynn. But instead it's Paddy Kelly. Paddy Kelly, great long raking ball in towards Donnacha O'Connor. Donnacha O'Connor turns and sends over a peach of a shot. It's all so simple when you can do it like that.
Yeah, I think Dara said it at half-time that Cork are getting their scores a bit easier than Kildare, and we can see it on that occasion. Paddy Kelly, what a player to have on the bench to bring on, won the ball from the break and immediately right into the heart of the Kildare defence, and into Donnacha O'Connor, who is equally adept with his left foot as well as his right. Great score from Cork.
That's his first score from play. It's his third in total, though. James Kavanagh, can he use his strength now? Well, he can for a moment, but that really was, again, Cork's defending has been tremendous. Absolutely tremendous. And Paddy Kelly back there, he'll work his socks off. The ball across there to Aidan Walsh, and it just falls for him. Things beginning to run for Cork once again. They've opened up a 5-point lead. Paudie Kassan, he's got Aidan Walsh inside him. He'll use Aidan Walsh now. There's daylight ahead of him, though. Aidan Walsh plays it on in a turn as far as Paul Kerrigan. Paul Kerrigan goes for the goal. Oh, that looked like it took the hand of Shane Connolly to save that one. That really was a fabulous save.
Yeah, and of course with Daniel Goulding inside and Nicholas Murphy gone off, Cork have reverted back to their running game, which is their natural game, and just swept through the middle with 3 or 4 excellent hand passes. Great shot and a fantastic save by Shane Connolly has kept Kildare in it at this stage, but ominous for Kildare. As I said, Cork have got their running game in motion, but we saw a few minutes ago, we see Ray Carey struggling with an injury. A terrific dispossession of James Kavanagh, and in that tackle, a crucial tackle over on the left wing, he injured himself and looks like he's coming off.
Yes, Shane Connolly beaten just twice in the last 5 games before today. Once by Meath, once by Cavan, but of course today twice by Cork. So change has been made. Ray Carey going off, and Kildare going to bring on 2 men. The numbers 19 and 25 that you can see. Pádraig O'Neill, who probably will slot in around the middle of the field, and Fionn Dowling. Well, this is a young man for the future, perhaps more so than for today. But Donnacha O'Connor still has the opportunity now. Pádraig O'Neill going in. And it's Mick Foley, the player who's making way. So that'll be a midfield swap.
Yeah, that's a surprising substitution for me. McFoley, who's been man of the match in his last 2 games, not as prominent today, but
Donegal O'Connor from the 45. Oh, he swings it in so well. He just makes it look so easy. 2 in a row for Donegal O'Connor. And now, once again, Cork beginning to assert themselves. That's Fionn Dowling that has just come in for Kildare. Jamie O'Sullivan, the man for Cork. So a lot of changes being made. The game will be a little unsettled perhaps for the next few minutes, and that's always an opportunity for scores.
Yeah, but Cork have got more dominance around the middle of the field, picking up the breaks again.
Well, for a second there, it seemed as if Fintan Gould was going to have 2 or 3 attempts at that one. It's come back, though, up to where it all started with Noel O'Leary, his half-back partner, Paddy Cassan. Graham Canty involved. Noel O'Leary. He's 30 years of age, Noel O'Leary. Still a lot of fuel left in the tank, even if it isn't always eco-friendly. But once again, Kildare breaking up the attacks and then almost giving that away. Owen Doyle perhaps a little bit lucky there. But Hugh McGrillen spots the bit of space in the centre. Emmett Bolton. Johnny Doyle. And you could see the way that Morgan O'Flaherty was on the burst there. No, in fact, it was Peter Kelly on the burst there. Owen O'Flaherty now. It's all very tight, and Cork are funneling players back. And Owen O'Flaherty, really, that was a very, very optimistic one. Danger for Cork, but again, the challenge is just a little bit too rash.
Yeah, it's a poor shot selection there from Owen O'Flaherty. The build-up was too slow, and Paddy Kelly sweeping inside and picking up the ball. Certainly Paddy Kelly has made a big difference since he's come on. He was a key player for Cork last year and the year before, a playmaker, and he knows how to win ball around the middle of the field, and a great distributor, and will get the forward line moving, will involve a lot of the other forwards when he gets the ball.
Aidan Walsh, another one of those bursts through the centre, and he's still going now. Is there a goal on here for Aidan Walsh? There is perhaps. Oh, he goes in the end for the point. That was an extraordinary run. The hole just opened up in front of him, and he really should have got the goal.
Well, another example of the athleticism and pace in this Cork team. Aidan Walsh did that against Clare, got a great goal coming in from the right wing, and I've no doubt goal was on his mind when he went through the middle there, and Kildare could not catch him. A fantastic score from Cork.
No need to let the Kildare supporters, or indeed most of the country, know. 21 for Kildare. Shawnee Johnson replacing Owen O'Flaherty. And how ironic it would be if Shawnee Johnson was to help Kildare overcome Cork, considering that 2 of Kildare's greatest, Larry Tompkins and Shea Fahy, helped Cork to All-Ireland success in 89 and 90. But at the moment, that's a long way away. There's 7 points between these sides. James Kavanagh doesn't get it first time round, does second time round. Now Kildare have men forward. They're playing 2 in their full forward line just at the moment. And even though the Cork player went down on that ball and touched it, he'd been fouled on the way down.
Yeah, they've just started to control the ball around the middle of the field again, Cork, and once they do that, they're able to launch their fast players from defence, from midfield. We saw Paul Kerrigan making runs inside as well, and that's the launch pad for the way they play this running game. As I said, now that Nicholas Murphy has gone off, they're not going to kick long high ball into the full forward line. They'll revert back to their natural game, the running game, which they've played, the one that they're probably most comfortable with, over the one that they've played the last few years, and it's been very effective in the first 20 minutes of the second half, 50 minutes of the second half.
Fintan Gould showed well for that one. Paddy Kelly, he threads that one through. There's real danger again every time that ball is played through in that way. Graham Canty, when he's off balance when he hit it, it might still work out quite well though. Shane Connolly has to. Oh, that's a very good catch. Great goalkeeping. Kept his eye on the ball despite being under pressure. Kildare begin it again. There are 2 or 3 players he can aim for. One of those players, for a second there, it seemed as if it might just skip through to Fionn Dowling. In the end, the Cork defence are just so assured, so composed. They seem to have every space covered, and when they burst at pace. Aidan Walsh, who's been ever available today. Paddy Kelly weaving his way through. And space on this side for Noel O'Leary. Paddy Kassan moving from the right over onto the left. His run is blocked there, but it makes no difference because Fintan Gould could take the score from there, and he does. That was a sweet score. The half forward strolling up and taking a fine point.
Yeah, fantastic score again, but the movement is terrific. Everybody's running into space, dragging the Kildare defence all over the place, and Fintan Gould, who hasn't been in the game very much, first point from play.
Well, as the players tussle and continue to hold on in the centre of the field, Kildare come looking for something. They've been separated, and Owen Doyle, that could be a second booking for Owen Doyle, and that would mean a red card for him.
Yeah, I think Owen has already had the yellow, and this doesn't look good for Kildare. Struggling badly around the middle of the field at this stage, and he takes out the yellow and followed by a red. And
yes,
the absolute last thing that Kildare need is to be down to 14 men at this stage of the game, where their heads have dropped a bit and Cork's momentum has carried them to score the last number and put them last number of points, put them 8 points ahead.
Owen Doyle looking distraught as he makes his way to the bench. So Kildare down to 14. Michael Shields, he's had a relatively quiet game, although that defence has been excellent all the way through. Graham Canty, now they can just look for the extra man now. Graham Canty this time, he prods that one forward as much as anything. As far as Fintan Gould has become increasingly involved in this game, Aidan Walsh, he's always been involved. And he bursts through the tackle once again. Will he take another point? His confidence is up. The ball is up. The score is recorded. There is no one able to stop.
Well, he's back to the type of form that he showed when he won the man of the match in the All-Ireland final against Down 2 years ago. It was a revelation on that occasion. One fantastic ball in the air, but has added to his repertoire of skills by being able to score goals and points. And
that one not looking good though, from Daniel Goulding, screaming off to the left and wide. Daniel Goulding had scored 4 points before today, and of course scoring with his first touch in this game. Kildare haven't scored since half-time, and they're struggling to get possession. Tomas O'Connor, and the harder they work to get it, and then they give it away so simply. And here's Pearse O'Neill, 30 metres out. Pearse O'Neill does what he does so well. It's enough to have Aidan Walsh bursting through the centre. Pearse O'Neill is something else as well.
Yeah, and Cork have got a lot of their scores in the second half from making runs down through the middle. Of course, Kildare play with the sweeper. Morgan O'Flaherty in particular drops back, tries to shore up the middle, but they were exposed against Meath. You know, with a lot of scores coming through the middle, they've been exposed again today, and now with the loss of the man, the Cork extra player now, they're going to create a lot more scoring opportunities inside.
Well, Fintan Gould thought that he was just about to open up Paul Kerrigan for a third Cork goal. And really it's fingertip saves for Kildare just at this point in time. Ollie Lyons, for the first time really seeing him go forward, and he's kept on the move as Alan Smith plays a nice little ball into that full forward line. Fionn Dowling, he's young, he's confident, he's won the 45.
Yeah, he's a very good young player, Fionn Dowling, from the Suncroft club, but he's up against one of the hardened defenders of the game in Noel O'Leary, who's played for a number of years and a huge amount of experience.
Yes, Noel O'Leary comes from Kilnamartyra, where they make the toy soldiers. Although I think Noel was hewn from granite rather than anything else. But John Doyle has an opportunity for the 45. They needed a goal perhaps at one stage in the first half. They made their way back by points. But now Johnny Doyle might be quite happy just to take the point. He's dropped it in there. There's a lot of players in there, but they're mostly blood and bandages rather than lily whites. And Paddy Kelly, plenty of time to just make the pass, a very leisurely one. And now you can see that confidence oozing through. Michael Shields captained them to 2 National League titles. And Fintan Gould, who actually lists Kieran McGeeney as the greatest player he ever saw. This is terrific football from Cork. The patterns that they're weaving, the openings they're creating, and the scores that they're taking. Paul Kerrigan. And it isn't all about speed.
No, Kildare just not able to cope with the extra man running through the middle at this stage, and the pace and direct running of the Cork team. You see Paul Kerrigan there. Every time he gets the ball, he runs straight at goal. He got the goal in the first half. Fortuitous, I know, came off a Kildare defender, but every time he gets that ball, he goes straight for goal, and very, very hard to defend against that. We saw Aidan Walsh do it on a few occasions. Graham Canty do it as well, and you need to be incredibly fit and strong to be able to cope with that running game.
Well, Croke Park is filling up now with green and gold. Kerry and Donegal all ready for another edition in a Super Sunday of live GAA on 3. That one's still to come. This one beginning to fizzle out. And the reason is that Cork are just looking so good. Oh, that's a great score. Well, Paddy Kassan, he took one through the centre in the first half. That was a great score, but that one, it was just such a good kick from a wing halfback.
Absolutely, and Cork can launch their attacks from anywhere, and they can score from anywhere, and that makes them so difficult to defend against. They have any number of 10 or 12 players who can get scores on the board, and really, if you close down a couple of forwards, you know, that's not going to work, because you'll have players like Kassan who'll spring up, or Aidan Walsh who can shoot from anywhere and score from anywhere.
Cork scored 3 goals and 16 points against Clare in the Munster final, all from play. Here's Shawnee Johnson for the first time. Alan Smith tries to get that ball through as far as Fionn Dowling, but again, Cork are reading everything. Graham Canty back there, now he takes the pass, now he sets things moving again. Aidan Walsh back there as well. So you have one line of Cork defenders, and then you have the midfielders coming back, the half-backs coming as well. Donnacha O'Connor decides time for him to stretch his legs. Well, if Aidan Walsh gets on to the end of that one, this will be another massive run. Will he go for a goal this time round? He won't have to go for it though, but it ends up with a Cork point nonetheless. Colm O'Neill, the man who gets in at the end of it, but Aidan Walsh's run there was quite extraordinary. He kept going, he never stopped.
Absolutely, and nobody picked him up either. And again, that's the problem with the extra man that Cork have at this stage, and the athleticism that they bring to the game. Once they're in this position where they're dominant, as I said, with that additional player that they have on the pitch, they're almost impossible to stop in this form.
Darrell Flynn gets out and wins possession, but as soon as he wins it, he's surrounded. He wins the free though. James Kavanagh. It eventually finds its way through to that full forward, and chance of a goal perhaps for Shawnee Johnson. Will he go for it? He does. It's blocked. He gets a second chance perhaps. The referee felt that there was a free there. Shawnee Johnson looks at Joe McQuillan.
Yeah, he got the opportunity. Wasn't going to be his first ever championship goal. Once he turned back on his right foot, gave the Cork defence the opportunity to set themselves up in front of him. He was never going to get a score from there with the experience of Michael Shields in front of him, and I think Kildare will get their first point in the second half.
Johnny Doyle does the business. Their first score coming with just over 9 minutes left in this second half. And Johnny Doyle is the man to do it.
Yeah, it just shows the dominance that Cork have had. Went through a patch before half-time where Kildare won a lot of ball around the middle of the field, Kevin, and posed questions of the Cork defence, and would have gone in at half-time feeling a certain level of confidence, having held Cork scoreless for about 15 minutes or 16 minutes before half-time. But like all champions and good teams, great teams, they rebounded, they regrouped. Some changes. Conor Cunningham made some good changes. Bringing Paddy Kelly on was a crucial change. Midfield got the act together, and from there on Cork just have dominated this game. I think Kildare had a couple of chances at the start of the second half and they needed to take those. Once they didn't, Cork have just controlled the game from here, and a very impressive clinical performance from Cork, but have to say poor Kildare second half in particular.
Well, Dennis O'Sullivan is the man who replaces Graham Canty, and Graham Canty receiving a tremendous ovation in Croke Park. One of the game's great players. And here's another of the game's great players now moving that ball forward. Dermot Earley into the full forward line. Alan Smith, he's never stopped today. He thinks he can get a score from there. Well, that's a very good score from Alan Smith. If Alan Smith had got more possession today, who knows, Kildare might just have been that bit better in that forward line.
Oh, absolutely, and certainly he can hold his head up very high. Every ball that went into him, he's won, and he's kicked 3 great points from play. He's been lively inside. I think Kildare have erred by not kicking enough ball into Tomas Conor. He has had a good year so far. They just didn't get enough quality ball into him, because I think if he had won a bit more ball, or if they kicked more ball inside, Alan Smith might have been able to feed off him. But a lot of that is down to the dominance that Cork had and the way they were able to close down Kildare options around the middle of the field.
Owen Cadigan sent in goal, making a rare mistake. Oh, that one could have been touched on the ground there. The referee decided to let it go, perhaps. I'm not sure if he would if the game was level. Ollie Lyons playing it out to Alan Smith again, and Alan Smith again taking on Pearse O'Neill, who drags him down, and I suspect that might be a yellow for Pearse O'Neill. Pearse O'Neill looking a little bit the worse for wear there as he brought him down by the ankles.
Yeah, there's a lot of talk in the last couple of weeks about cynical fouling in the game. Kevin, there's another example of it. No need to do it at this stage of the game. Kildare aren't going to close a 13-point gap at this stage, so again.
Now Pearse O'Neill gets the yellow card, the number 22. And Cork again secure under the Paddy Kelly, Paddy Kassan stretching Kildare. Aidan Walsh through the centre. Owen Cadigan. Oh, Pearse O'Neill this time with plenty of space. Never even thought about going for the goal. Decided the point will do fine. And that's exactly where Cork are at the moment.
Yeah, Pearse O'Neill again, you know, off the bench today. He has done that so many times for Cork over the last number of years. His preferred position is probably centre forward. He's been playing on the wing today, but he fills those gaps, makes those runs from outside the 45-metre line. Any space that's inside, he fills it, and he's very penetrating when he makes those runs down through the middle. But you have to say that Kildare have not done themselves justice in that area today. They've left huge gaps for Cork players to run into all through the second half, even when they were at full complement of 15 players.
And there's Aidan Walsh again getting a hand in and setting the move. Paul Kerrigan. Oh, there's just so much space inside. Daniel Goulding. And again, he's prepared to settle for the point. If that ball had been delivered a little bit faster, perhaps, from Paul Kerrigan, the goal was on, but he was quite happy to take his point.
Absolutely, and Cork aren't going to go for goals at this stage. They know the game is won. They're just going to pop points over at every opportunity that they get.
Daniel Goulding brings the Cork total to 2 goals and 17 points. Now Kildare perhaps might just look for a goal. Dermot Earley. Be nice to see Dermot Earley get the score. And Dermot Earley does get the score. What a pity we can't see Dermot Earley fully fit and starting every game.
Yeah, well, obviously he's had 2 years practically out of the game, worked incredibly hard to get back, as did Colm O'Neill and the Cork team as well, and it's great to see them come back I know maybe Kieran McGinney has felt that hasn't had enough match fitness, I suppose, to make a contribution for the full 70 minutes, but he has come back. He's played very well, I think, in the few games that he's played, and he's delighted that he's back and able to play at this level, and I think that's good to see.
Owen Cadigan making the run for it, but he was never going to get there ahead of Johnny Doyle. Dermot Earley. That's a good diagonal ball, but again, Paddy Kassan reads it well. Donnacha O'Connor, he's been moving down into that left half back position more in this second half. A little bit of a high challenge there from Shawnee Johnson, but Cork can just bring it back and start from the other side. Michael Shields. Colm O'Neill. He had time to look behind him there to see what was going on. And Cork just strolling through again. Paul Kerrigan.
Yeah, they're toying with Kildare at this stage, just running all over the place, running at great angles, look very, very fit. Of course, have a tremendous bench as well, and that's going to make a big difference to them probably in the semi-final. And they look very, very impressive at this stage, as I said, with the change of style, or with the new style that they have, where they can kick long as well as play their short running game. They're going to pose a threat to any team that encounters them at this stage in the championship. And after losing last year to Mayo in that quarter-final, they're certainly out for revenge this year, and have made a statement today.
Johnny Doyle's kick just falling that little bit short. Alan Quirk, who had a few shaky moments early on in the game with kickouts. He's rock solid now, the oldest player on the Cork team at 35. Dennis O'Sullivan. Just losing possession at the vital time, but Donnacha O'Connor's there. I think he'll go for the shot. It was very speculative though, and well wide. Paul, time for your man of the match decision.
Yes, well, I think, to me, when the game was in the melting pot at the start of the second half, one man took control around the middle of the field, and that was Cork's Aidan Walsh. Won some terrific ball, made some penetrating runs down the middle, kicked 2 points in the bargain, and just started to control the middle of the field, which Kildare had got dominance in the last quarter of the first half. And to me, he just changed the course of the game Cork's favour, and had a terrific game. Scored a great free in the first half from about 50 metres straight in front of the goal, and 2 great points from play. But his work and his ball-winning ability around the middle makes him our man of the match.
Aidan Walsh, man of the match. And Alan Smith, head down, he just stroked that one. The applause has almost dried up in Croke Park for Kildare scores at this stage. Aidan Walsh, who you mentioned as man of the match, he's been yo-yoing between full forward and midfield this year. I think today shows midfield is his place.
There's no doubt about that, but he is effective in full forward as well. It's a great option to have. He can drift inside and can win ball if Cork decide to change their tactics, create a mismatch, maybe drop him in there in the corner forward position on a smaller corner back. So he's very, very effective.
Well, we're going to have a minimum of 2 minutes of time to be added on. A bit of blood there somewhere for Dermot Earley. Well, it's nice to see Hugh Lynch coming onto the field after a long injury spell for him as well.
Yeah.
But not at the expense of Dermot Earley again.
Yes, Hughie's come back from a cruciate injury as well, and obviously Kildare have suffered more than any other county, I think, with cruciate injuries, but great to see Hugh back as well. Very difficult for players to come back from that injury and to perform at the highest level, but he's back playing, and that's good to see.
Well, he may play out the rest of this game as a blood sub. Aidan Walsh goes down. I think that might have been as much tiredness perhaps as foul play, but the referee saw something. And I think Colm O'Neill might be the player who'll take this kick. So An eerie silence almost around Croke Park just at the moment, in anticipation of the Donegal-Kerry match. Perhaps this one is long decided.
Yeah, well, what amazes me, Kevin, is obviously the crowd, the larger portion of the crowd for this game has been from Kildare, very small crowd from Cork, as was in the Munster final as well. Can't understand it. This Cork team have been outstanding over the last number of years, won in All-Ireland, have competed in All-Ireland finals, playing some magnificent, and the crowd only seem to come out to support them in the finals, and they don't certainly seem to have a huge support when they come to Croke Park or play in Munster finals, and that's disappointing because they've given spectators fantastic value for money over the last couple of years and are certainly probably the favourites maybe at this stage to win Sam again.
Well, they certainly are a spectacular team to watch, and in full flow. They're a match for anyone. Perhaps left something behind them last year when they went out against Mayo. And Alan Smith again. It would have been nice for him to finish off with a score, as he has played so well, but that one drifting left and wide. So we're into the final few seconds of this game. Joe McQuillan signals the end of the third 2012 quarter-final. Heartbreak yet again for Kildare, as Cork's footballers join their hurlers at the All-Ireland semi-final stage. That's 8 quarter-final wins out of 9 for Cork. They can now sit back and relax as our Super Sunday of live GAA on 3 continues with the mouth-watering meeting of Donegal and Kerry. Final scoreline: Cork 2 goals and 19 points, Kildare 12 points.
Darragh O'Shea, we heard Paul early in commentary saying now Cork favourites for the All-Ireland. The statements of a 10th goal, what did you make of that?
Yeah, they were very powerful. It was a big statement, Matt. They've come up here, super weekend of football, but they've come up here and they've laid claim. They've put out the nose to everybody. They're here, they mean business. They were ruthless, they were strong, they were aggressive, they were everything you see. And I mean, they're probably champions in the making with the performance they gave there today.
Okay, we will talk more about Cork's performance against Kildare and look forward to Kerry against Donegal when we come back after this.
SuperValu, proud sponsors, real supporters of the GAA Football All-Ireland Championship.
With Duracell Power Check, you'll know you'll have the power to never miss a golden moment. And now, for every promotional pack bought, download 2 events from London 2012, the official video game of the Olympic Games.
What's your story? Computers?
Nah. I won the lotto.
Yes, I is. Buddy, do you have a dream? Nothing that money can buy, Roundy. Nothing that money can buy.
Thanks for helping us make magic happen.
Estrada Restaurant? No problem.
To connect and serve. Need a number nifty? Call 11850.
Always keep your distance from the car in front. Look at how much more you can see now. On dry roads, pick a point and make sure you have time to say only a fool breaks the 2-second rule before you pass the same point. On wet roads, say it twice. Never tailgate by driving too close. And always expect the unexpected. From the Road Safety Authority.
CityJet flies direct from Dublin to London City, where you not only fly to and from the airport, on your return journey you fly through the airport with a speedy 15-minute check-in, or fly on to destinations all over Europe, while enjoying our friendly personal service. Book by the 9th of August at cityjet.com to get our special promotional fare for €129 return, including all taxes.
Now, till Monday only, at Cost Plus Sofas, it's a huge clearance in all Cost Plus sofas Ireland-wide. Thousands of sofas must all go. Huge savings on designer sofas, leather sofas, fabric sofas. Look what €599 buys. Look what €399 buys. It's a massive clearance. 9 till 9, 3 days only at Cost Plus Sofas Ireland-wide. And beds, etc. Huge beds clearance in all Cost Plus sofas this weekend.
You never know what life has in store for you. It can change in a heartbeat. You may not know it now, but getting the right maternity cover is the first gift you can give your baby. You should know that Leia Healthcare is there to help with the bundle of costs before and after the birth, so you can look after your little bundle, or bundles. So now that you know, call us on 1890 700 890 or visit us at leiahealthcare.ie. Leia Healthcare, looking after you always.
They're gonna love this.
I know what we can make you a monkey. Like me, I'm a monkey. Let's do it.
Change starts with Dulux. Make a change this August with 20% off Dulux Interior Ready-Mixed Colour Emulsions.
Okay, get ready.
Oh, yeah! Hey, Johnny, how about a beer, huh?
Ted, in cinemas now.
A financial plan for every fan. Ulster Bank, proud sponsors of the GAA Football Championship.
So Cork have laid down their credentials. Colm O'Neill got the second goal for Cork in the first half. They were only 3 points ahead at half-time, and it looked as if Kildare could, but a ruthless and relentless performance in the second half. Owen Doyle sent off for Kildare didn't help, but by that stage Cork were well on top and well on their way to the All-Ireland semi-final as they picked off the points to the delight of their fans. The only downside is that it might be Kerry who they might have to play in Croke Park in the semi-final, depending on what happens against Donegal. So there's the final score, 2-19 to 12 points, Cork against Kildare. Senan, we heard from Dara how impressed he was by Cork. What did you make of them?
Well, you mentioned earlier they were ruthless. Matt, they had 10 points on the board in the second half before Kildare got a score. In the 60th minute, they had 10 points put up. I think the half-time killed Kildare's momentum. Kildare had the momentum in at half-time. It just came at the wrong part of the game for them, and then it was overkill from Cork's point of view. You know, fantastic performance. They're serious All-Ireland contenders now and absolutely favourites.
David, we picked out Aidan Walsh, who was the man of the match, to show just what many of the Cork players were able to do to this Kildare team.
Yeah, you know what, their power and pace was just, you know, it was top class. But on the other hand, you know, Kildare didn't really put up a fight to them. I have to say that I was more impressed unimpressed with Kildare.
It was 90 yards of a run there.
It was 90 yards of a run, but I'll tell you now, he took 6 and 7 solos.
Stop, David, stop, will you?
Boys, it's there in the rule book for a reason.
You're going to watch this in slow motion tonight.
But you're allowed 4 steps or not?
It was just outside of that, like that was clinical stuff. But like what was impressive from Cork as well, Matt, was the spread of scores they got from across the field.
Let's actually hear from the man of the match. Aidan Walsh is with Kieran McSweeney.
And here to present the man of the match award to Cork's. Right, go again. 3, 2, 1. And here to present the man of the match award to Cork's Aidan Walsh is Emmett McConville from SuperValue.
Very well done.
Aidan, congratulations. It looked dodgy there for a while at the end of the first half when Kildare got it back to 3 points.
Yeah, definitely. They had a kind of a poor pasture and they got a run on us. But Joe, I suppose half-time just came at the right time for us and we kind of regrouped again at half-time. And so we came out and we said we wanted to get the first few scores and the first 15 was very important. And Joe, we were just happy that we got the few scores and we just kept driving on the whole time and it was always next ball. And Joe, I suppose last year was a big hurt for us losing to Mayo and that was a big incentive for us today. And Joe, we're just delighted to be in the All-Ireland semi-final.
Yeah, there were some similarities to that Mayo game last year. I suppose you were cruising for the first 20 minutes today and then it kind of came to a halt. I suppose you probably learned from last year's defeat.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. We knew we did wrong last year and we knew we wanted to get it right this year. We said at half-time we weren't going to leave this happen again this year, and in fairness, everyone stood up, everyone just put in everything they had, and big plus for us. We have great players to come onto the pitch to make a big difference, and that's why we did so well towards the end. We had such good strong players to come on, and everyone gave their bit.
Well, congratulations, Aidan, well done.
Thanks, man. Thank you.
Now, only 4 points for Kildare in the second half of today's match, but we're also going to look at the scoring of the Cork team because it seems they have it at both ends of the pitch, Dara.
Yeah, they were very clinical and really composed as well. I mean, look at the scores. They had options as well. Each guy kicking a ball here. I mean, they went for points here, but they could have got goals. I mean, they had every guy that was kicking points here had 3 or 4 options on either side of them. It was clinical stuff.
There was no pressure on the shooter either. You know, they had time to, you know, to shape up to goal, and that's how you teams.
Well, what's the contrast between the way Kildare faced Cork today and the way Laois faced Dublin last night?
That's it. And Laois and both Laois and Kildare had momentum coming into the game, but Laois, you know, I suppose Laois went a little bit more defensive last night, and they tried to stifle Dublin's game plan, and they squeezed the life out of Dublin in the forward line, whereas Cork in the second half ran straight through the middle, match. There wasn't hardly a hand laid on any of the Cork forwards, midfielders, as they were breaking through a pace.
It was just one of the points I noticed there is, I mean, you said it earlier on, Sinan, it's 25 minutes without scoring a goal or scoring at all. That's what Kildare went in the second half there. So, I mean, there was a period there where they really pressed Cork for about 5 or 10 minutes in the first half, didn't get a score, Matt, and then the gates opened.
That's all we're going to talk about in the Cork-Kildare match for now. We're looking forward to the next game here in Croke Park. The Battle of Kerry and Donegal is coming up next.
The Aircom Championship Challenge. Why not challenge yourself at experiencemore.ie?
Introducing new KFC Crush'ems Milky Bar. Packed with delicious real bits of Milky Bar, it's this year's biggest crush.
Heartburn and indigestion? Rennie turns excess acid into water and other natural substances. Simply relieved with Rennie.
Are you suffering from hair loss and are looking for a pain-free, affordable solution? The Aylesbury Hair Implants technique is the answer. For over 8 years, this has been the most advanced technique available in Ireland by fully registered doctors. A fully guaranteed treatment that delivers truly outstanding results, and it does not involve invasive surgery. Call now on 01 269 0933 or log on to aylesburyhairloss.com.
Good news at Holland & Barrett. The cent sale is back. Buy 2 selected products, pay normal price for one, and just a cent for the other. That was on me. $11.69 for those, a cent for those. And you can mix and match. Vitamin D and Californian prunes, silica complex and cranberries. And use your rewards for life card, and the deal gets even better. The Holland & Barrett cent sale, in-store or online. You won't get that anywhere else.
All this talk about the digital switchover sounds futuristic, but it's okay, because you'll still be able to settle down and watch great TV. Catch all the repeats and record your favorite show, even when you have to go out. Because with Sky TV, the future of digital entertainment is already here. Sky. Believe in better.
OK, let's talk about gums. Did you know that 3 out of 4 of you will suffer from gum disease?
Not me.
Me neither.
Let's try the floss test.
A little blood. Isn't that normal?
Bleeding gums could be the first sign of gum disease, just like gum inflammation. New Colgate Total Pro Gum Health is clinically proven to treat gum disease. See? Mine's clean. So, who wants a pack?
Yep.
New Colgate Total Pro Gum Health line. Start fighting gum disease today. For more information about gum disease, ask your dentist.
Aon and Insure.ie are united to bring you car insurance. That's in a league of its own. So whatever you do, don't buy car insurance until you contact aoninsure.ie.
Better insurance, it's gotta be
aoninsure.ie.
Insure.ie.
Over 100